JL Waters, and I'm the creator of the Oasis for Teachers YouTube channel. I create content for teachers who are feeling burnt out and need a refreshing and rejuvenating. On my channel, you'll find self-care tips, inspiration, and professional development. So if you're feeling burnt out as a teacher, please come and join us.
In this game of shadows, I won't hide.
Bobby Banger from the block, seen it all raw tough. Streets of Baltimore where survival's always rough. Joined the Marines fighting for a life he could save. But back in the hood, he felt like a runaway slave. Started an army, not of guns but of wisdom. I'm a rock squad, truth the anthem, we ain't just a God killer. Bobby Banger on his path for the truth. Empower the people, give them wisdom as the proof. Black power rising, knowledge shines like a light. He's fighting for the future, ready to ignite. Selling drugs on the corner just to put food on plates, but deep in his heart, he knew he had greater fates. From the traps to the lab, he fights ignorance raw, teaching evolution while shaking up the law. The real black atheist is changing the game, waking up minds never the same. God killer Bobby Banger on his path for the truth. Empower the people.
I'm not sure if anybody can hear you. I can't hear you.
Hear me? Get
Yes.
that technology right. Y'all can
Yeah.
hear me? Hey, look. So look, what's good? Dave, how you feeling, man?
Pretty good. Yeah, not too bad. Thank you.
All right, man. Good to have you on. They missed a little intro. That's okay. We'll go back and edit that. So how you feeling today, that Dave? Been a powerful week, has it?
Yeah, no, it's been a good week. Yeah, just it's fun when a piece goes a little bit viral. I've had a few go pretty viral. This thing with Lord Jamar was maybe the third or fourth most viral thing. There's definitely a little bit of a buzz about it, so it's kind of fun.
Hey, it's in the nick of time. You know, we've been on their heads for years for that misinformation. Flat earthers in our community, like Brother Sanchez and them, they straight pseudo with the information. So look, we just appreciate you coming in. So welcome to the community of skeptics. It's definitely an atheistic platform. So let me start you off with this. First of all, how'd you get started? What brought you into the game?
With science communication or
science communication?
Yeah, so I've always loved science. I studied science. I studied chemistry, and I taught mainly chemistry, through my 20s, just to make money as I was trying to be a musician. And I uploaded some lectures to YouTube just really to try to get some passive income. I had been teaching organic chemistry at a trade university, and I thought, let me just deliver my lectures to camera. I'll put them on, I'll make a little channel. This is 10 years ago at this point, so it's been quite a while. And they were received really well. It was kind of, as an artist and working so hard in total vain to try to get anybody to care about your art, and just it gets really frustrating to then do something and make these lectures and have an immediate positive response. I actually wasn't even, I was shocked. I couldn't really believe it. And then so I just started doing more content, and the channel has really grown over time. Now it's really a database of a lot of the tutorials in many different subjects, and then I've started doing the debunks and commentary, social commentary on you know, on public science literacy and public perception of science. And so now this whole, you know, I have this whole SciComm career that I never really expected, and but now I take it very seriously. I have a sense of duty towards it. So.
Hey, I never heard your music, but I know you're good at doing this right here, and we appreciate you. We've been watching you for years, and we seen you blow up, and you got dragged into it like a vacuum with the flat Earth thing.
Yes.
I want you to know that this man's playlist is popping. Go deep into his playlist. He do classes and stuff like that on all types of subjects, and we really appreciate that. Let's start off like this. If I want to say, how do you feel about God, religion, and creationism? Which it stands.
Okay, so yeah, three different things. Creationism, I feel very, very negative towards. Creationism is, I mean, creationists are a mixture of willfully ignorant people and the charlatans who prey on them, right? The evangelical frauds who prey on them. It's actually an incredible threat to personal freedoms in America. As we see the rise of Christian nationalism, we could see, we could see theocracy being slowly implemented here. So creationism, I hate a lot. Religion, we can take one step down. I'm not a fan of it. I'm not religious, but I have an ability to respect people's beliefs and ideologies insofar as they do not infringe on my personal freedoms, and insofar as they do not try to make grandiose claims about the nature of reality. So if you have a religion and it is part of your cultural identity, and you have rituals and you have holidays and you have things like that go with that religion, that's a personal thing, and that doesn't bother me at all. Then God is like, I mean, just the mere belief in God doesn't offend me in the slightest. And I have, I know people definitely believe in God. Most friends are atheists, but I certainly have people that believe in God, but aren't really enveloped in any particular religion. They just believe in a God. And it's totally not a source of conflict at all. It's just, personal view of the universe. So that would be my little ladder there. Creationism, awful. Religion can be okay. Belief in God, that's fine. I don't care.
Yeah, we feel the same way around here. And I always felt like once I understood and started to get the inner workings of the universe and how it kind of worked and just learning about it, I realized that religion was just a cultural container of ideas created by human beings. And co-opted is actually people took evolutionary psychology dealing with how early Homo sapiens we just believe because it helped us survive. So religion actually co-opted that. So once I understood that, you at a certain point you have to be tolerant of other people's cultures, gods, and beliefs. I think that's important. That's part of what makes us human, is the way we look at things. So yeah. All right, got that out the way. That was a good one. So I wanted to actually bring you on. We're going to get into a few things. I want to get into your book. Is this Wi-Fi organic? Spectacular book. I want to make sure I'm gonna show the cover. I want everybody to get this. This is important work right here. This is a good right here. I want y'all to get this, and we want to deal with 2 chapters in here, and we're gonna have some fun. Very, very interesting. Yeah, is Wi-Fi organic? This is it right here. So I want to ask you, what inspired you for this? For writing this book right here, what inspired you?
So actually, that publisher Mango reached out to me. It seemed like their business model was based on reaching out to relatively large YouTube channels, probably around 1 million subscribers at the time, and say, "Do you want to write a book? We'll publish it." And I thought, well, it would be kind of cool to be an author, to say I'm an author. And I did have an idea for a book, and I pitched it to them, and they said, "Great, write it, and we'll publish it." And it was an idea that I knew would be very, very easy for me to write. I didn't want to spend a year writing a book. It was something that was based on talking points that I had been using in lectures for a long time. I wrote the whole thing in like 6 weeks because it was stuff that I had already been, talking about. And so I decided that I wanted to combine the two things that I do. I wanted to offer very succinct information on basic scientific information in chemistry, biochemistry, biology, and physics. Just basically try to summarize a year of high school biology in 15 pages, obviously, just really the basics, and then apply that information to broader cultural trends to do a little bit of debunking, not necessarily individual targets, but sort of analyzing fads in the collective consciousness, the way people perceive science, the way people perceive certain scientific concepts, certain scientific terms, where there is confusion, and try to help people understand these words don't mean what you think they mean. This is what it is, that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, it just came together really easily, and haven't really sold a ton of them, but hey, I'm an author. That's a fun thing to say. Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna get that out the door. Yeah. So let's get right to it. So we're gonna deal with a couple chapters in the book. What inspired you to write? Particular chapters, and then we're gonna get, of course, we're gonna have to get on the heads of the flat earthers and the pseudo community that's right underneath your nose, and I don't think you even know about it. So chapter 3 for me was spectacular. Natural versus synthetic. Okay. Now, this is a top issue in what they call the conscious community. I call it the pseudo community, but it's the conscious community. Okay. And top notch is that nature and that mischaracterized of nature in that chapter. You go in. Let's talk about that.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, naturalism is an incredible trend in cultural. Just the romanticization of nature. Anything natural must be good. Anything natural must be this wonderful flower from a tree that heals you, and everything man-made must be a disgusting, horrible, toxic chemical in a barrel with a radioactivity sign on it, right? That there's obviously, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but that's not too far off from the way that a certain swath of the public thinks. And so there's two ways to talk about this. Number one, nature, the most toxic compounds known to man are naturally occurring, right? We're talking about toxins that are produced in frogs and snakes and things like this. So, and then, nature is natural disasters and, fires and hurricanes and tornadoes and all these things. So nature is both, right? It gives and takes life. It's this incredibly nourishing thing. And it also is destruction and pestilence and disease and death, so we want to try to, show how ridiculous it is to overly romanticize nature, but then also try to help people understand what it is that people do and what chemists do, and what it is to make drugs and things like that. And so even just on the basic level, what nature's doing, what humans are doing to elucidate that, but then to talk about individual compounds. So how an individual compound, a molecular compound, could be natural or synthetic in origin, and that in and of itself doesn't actually mean anything, right? All those words mean is the origin of it. So nature makes molecules. Nature has to build molecules out of atoms, just like we do. We go in the lab and we can build whatever molecule we want with atoms, and we can build the same molecule. And we might take completely different pathways, right? Nature might use a bunch of enzymes inside of a tree to build some vitamin or some nutrient or something. And we might have a completely different pathway. But when you get to that molecule, it's the same, right? If it's these atoms arranged in this way, the properties of a molecule have to do with the composition and the geometry of that molecule, and that's it. Has nothing to do with where this carbon atom came from and where this oxygen atom came from. If it's that molecule, it's that molecule. And that, I think, is definitely not well understood by the public. So
no, it's not. So they get it confused. So this statement right here: biological molecules, like the body. How does the body read? Is the difference between the way the body reads molecules, synthetic or natural?
No, there could never be. That's impossible, right? There's no information contained in a molecule respective to its origin, right? There's no notes on the side of the molecule that say this carbon atom came from here and this oxygen atom came. It doesn't matter, right? The properties of the molecule are exclusively about the structure and the shape of the molecule. And in fact, we could make synthetic water, right? If you take hydrogen and oxygen and you mix them in the right conditions, you make water. That would be synthetic water, right? Synthetic just means that we made it, as opposed to occurring by natural processes. It's still water. It's H2O, right? We're talking about
Correct.
two hydrogen atoms and an oxygen atom, and there is no way it can be but that. And it is those water molecules will be indistinguishable from those found in the ocean or whatever it is. So the pathway that is used to arrive at a molecule is irrelevant in terms of the properties of that molecule.
All right, so that's gonna move us forward to synthetic, right? It's bad, and natural is good, and this is how that's how they reel us in. So let's talk about that. What's the difference between when people talk about synthetic is bad? What are they really trying to do to us when they play?
So I've analyzed this a lot, and I think the negative connotation comes from like analogous situations where you could have like synthetic fabrics. You can have synthetic materials that are meant to mimic naturally occurring fibers or materials or something like that. And perhaps they are inferior in some way, right? And I'm not an expert on textiles, so like I can't say that this whatever, but we synthesize materials in order to have materials that mimic the properties of other materials. And so they're not the same substance, right? It could be they're not chemically identical. And so I think people take that connotation and put it on, right? They think that if we synthesize a molecule, that it must be a shoddy imitation of its naturally occurring counterpart, which is not true. Or again, with what we just said about water, if we synthesize a water molecule, it's a water molecule. It's identical to every other water molecule in the universe. There's no difference, right? So,
okay, so that unto itself, people can't even grasp that idea. They think synthetic is bad and it's always natural. And like we'll get into it, the natural cures as opposed to evidence-based medicine. That's always a serious struggle in our community. So, okay, so chemicals. I know me and you understand that life is chemical. Okay, the element chart, the chemical element chart. Okay, so and chemicals are molecules. Why do people stress so much about the chemicals? Is you put the chemicals in the food, the chemicals all over the place. They stress the chemicals when everything is chemical. Why do you think they stress that? Because you talk about that in your book.
Yeah, just generalized confusion. I mean, they don't like everything you eat is chemicals, right? If it's made out of the atom, if it's made out of the elements on the periodic table, it's chemicals, right? Those are the chemical elements. So water is a chemical, oxygen is a chemical. Every single thing you have ever eaten in your entire life is a chemical. Yeah, there's just oh shoot, I'm sorry. I have to this just died on me. Let me just change the batteries real quick.
Okay.
Shoot, sorry.
Hey, make sure y'all support the channel, man. Let me let Dave get his thing charged up real quick. Y'all know what it is, man. Y'all listen to the community skeptics. We getting it in, man. All right, what's going on, Joel? I see you, man. What it do, man? JD, I see you. Kevin Hurd, Chill, my favorite, man. What it do? Man, we in there, we doing our thing. So it's a great day to be able to really converse with a person that promotes science. And you know, this whole community over here promotes science and science literacy, because we understand that scientific literacy is a vaccine against the charlatans that come amongst us and get us and scam us. So that's that's top billing right there for us to be able to do that and promote on a regular basis, and then to find other people in other communities doing the exact same thing. But that hookup is serious. What's going on, Kent? Pseudo Killer Fisher, I see you. I can hear you.
We're good, right?
Hear you. All right, go ahead. Remember you was at?
Where was I at? I don't remember.
Okay.
Chemicals, something
Dr.
about
Mayat.
chemicals. People, yeah, everything we interact with on a daily basis is chemicals. This, this microphone and the table and the air and the food and it's all chemical. So we need to understand right? There are plenty of naturally occurring compounds that are incredibly harmful and toxic, and there are synthetic there are molecules that we create that have never existed before in nature. And that fact alone does not inform whether they are harmful or good for you at all. It doesn't matter that they've never existed before. They could be very harmful, and they could cure you. They could save your life, right? It has nothing to do with that. We have to understand what are the properties of a molecule that inform its bioactivity, right? It has to do with how it interacts with things that are inside your body, usually enzymes and receptors and things like that. That informs what a molecule will do if you ingest it or you introduce it into the body.
So you have a few videos on your channel actually talking about this process. Am I correct in that?
Sure. I mean, I cover biochemistry, biology, pharmacology, all this stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to the next chapter. Let me see. Want to talk about the alternative medicine chapter. That's another thing to go hand in hand with what we just talked about, the mischaracterization of what disease is and natural, and how the natural things can cure things. You talk about the way people take advantage of us, not even understanding those principles right there. So let's talk about this chapter a little bit. What's your best part of the chapter?
I don't remember what's in the chapter, but I'm sure whatever I decide to talk about is probably what's in that chapter. I wrote this like 3 years ago.
I got you. Hold on. I got you, Dave. Watch this.
Oh, sure.
You talk about marijuana. Let's start right there. You talk about marijuana and how the government actually mischaracterized the marijuana.
Sure.
And how they go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, this is the less interesting part to me, but I mean, there can be reasons that a substance would be criminalized or politicized. It could have racial undertones, or I think with marijuana, I think particularly was to a scapegoat for incarcerating Black males. I mean, and so, yeah, it's important to put everything into a political context, but speaking broadly scientifically, the alt health industry takes advantage. This goes back. We were talking about naturalism, right? Naturalism being this fad culturally. The alt health industry takes advantage of that, right? What the mean pharma people do, the mean pharmaceutical industry does. That's evil and bad. We need everything. It needs to be a leaf or a seed or a root or whatever it is, because nature is wonderful and would never hurt you. Right. This is definitely a very prevalent attitude. And it's also not completely without basis in the sense that, historically speaking, if you go back a few hundred years, we did begin to our quest in creating medicines to heal ourselves and to treat ourselves from disease started by just like, hey, what the hell is around us? Right. We didn't understand chemistry, so we didn't have the ability to go to understand the composition on the molecular level of everything around us, and let alone to be able to build whatever molecules we want. So we started out just with trial and error. What's that herb? What's that leaf? Eat it, rub it on that, take that thing, right? We just saw what everything does around us. And some things do have medicinal value around us, right? And so but what happened is that as we became more astute scientifically, we would say, okay, here is the bark of the cinchona tree is useful in the treatment of malaria, right? Or something, we would notice something. So then the next step empirically is say, well, why? Is the tree magic? No, it's not magic. It has an active ingredient. So we can take this material, we can perform an extraction, we can separate all the components, and we can identify the compound, the individual compound that has that medicinal effect. Okay, great. We found it. This is the one. Now let's figure out the structure. Let's do a characterization. So around the middle of the 20th century, it became possible to do NMR spectroscopy and to know this is the structure of this molecule. It's these atoms of these elements bonded in this way. This is the exact structure of that molecule. So that's part two. Then part three, synthesis comes along and says, now that we know that structure, let's make it ourselves. Why do we have to go hunting around the world for this rare plant and get the little couple of drops? We don't need the leaf. We're looking for this one molecule. We know what the molecule is. Let's build it ourselves. And so that's the main principle of pharma, right? We're identifying compounds that could have medicinal value, and then we're synthesizing them ourselves so that we can mass produce them so that everybody can have them. And then eventually it became out of style at a certain point to mimic nature, because nature has only made however many compounds. It has not made all of the compounds that are possible in the infinity of potentiality of chemical structures. So then we began to figure out how to probe the molecular world and figure out what hypothetical compounds could have some medicinal value. And so the way we approach medicine now is totally different from the way it was even 100 years ago, let alone 200 or 300 years ago, where it's just
Absolutely.
what does the leaf do, what does the thing do. Now we identify, when there's a disease, we identify the root cause of the disease. It's always something that is going wrong physiologically in terms of the behavior of a particular receptor, a particular enzyme. A lot of it is genome based. So there's a particular mutation. An enzyme is not acting properly, or a receptor is not acting properly. And so we can build molecules that fit into the active site of these proteins and either silence them if they're acting when they shouldn't be, or to trigger them to act when they have been silenced, or whatever it is. So it's all of these principles of how do we get this molecule of the right composition and the right shape to fit in these little pockets, these little nooks and crannies in the body, where they're going to have a therapeutic effect and neutralize whatever's going on physiologically. So we've definitely come a long way from relying on nature for all the ideas. Now we come up with all the ideas ourselves. So it's pretty different.
So you kind of gave us the origin of, I would say, here's that word, big pharma. That's the word
Sure.
they like to use. So you kind of talked for the listening audience. He was basically giving us how that the pharmaceutical industry actually was constructed over time. And one of my favorite scientists and chemists was Percy Levon Julian. He actually synthesized plants, get the active ingredients out the plants to do exactly what you just said. So that's interesting. So people take advantage of that, and they use that word big pharma, and they use it and they pseudorize the whole thing. They did it with the vaccines. They do it with the medicines. You kind of talk about cancers in the book, and people how they had these alternative quote unquote cures for cancer. You want to kind of talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, so cancer is, cancer is that thing that every biological organism will get. If you live long, if an organism lives long enough, it will get cancer eventually. There's no escaping it. And so I think a lot of people don't understand that because they don't know what cancer is, right? Our bodies, every cell in your body is gradually accumulating mutations. There's carcinogens everywhere. It's in the air, it's in the water. It's not about like particularly harmful things. It's just you can't escape it. They're everywhere. There's UV light from the sun. There are atoms in your body that are spontaneously decaying and emitting high energy particles. It's just happening all the time. So you're accumulating mutations, and it's only a matter of time until there's a mutation that occurs within what's called a proto-oncogene. It becomes an oncogene. So it's just a way of saying that if there's a mutation in this particular gene, it can cause a mutation in the protein product. Once that is transcribed and translated, the protein product that results from that gene is going to be behaving in such a way that it will cause problems with cell division. So either it will so there's so many proteins that are involved in the process of cell division, and tumors are just cells that are dividing out of control. So our somatic cells have to divide from time to time because we need to replace dead cells. So we're always regenerating cells, but they can't be dividing all the time. That's a tumor. That's going to be problematic. So there's a very complicated series of signaling events that determine whether a cell is going to divide or not. So often it's in the G0 state and it's resting, but sometimes it has to divide. But so there are so many proteins that govern that process. If one of them goes wrong, maybe it's unable to put the cell in the resting state and it just keeps dividing. Or also there are proteins that govern cell death. So if there's something going wrong with the cell, usually it can trigger apoptosis and the cell can kill itself. so that it doesn't harm the organism. But that process is governed by proteins. So like the P53 gene, that produces a protein that is heavily involved in apoptosis. And if that protein can't do its job, a cell that is supposed to be killing itself can't do it. And then it keeps dividing. So there's so many ways that cells can be dividing out of control when they're not supposed to. And all of them are cancer. And that's why there's also many different kinds of cancer. But it all stems from problems in the genome, which results in problems in certain proteins, and then cells dividing out of control. That's a tumor. And so any kind of treatment for cancer, if you're talking about a treatment of cancer and you're not even talking about what cancer is, right? Most of this alt health stuff treat cancer as like just this vague badness in the body. And if you just do the right, turmeric and exercise and the thing, it just, spices and herb, and it's just complete fantasy land, right? If you're not addressing a disease on the molecular, all disease has a molecular basis, right?
Correct.
All disease has a molecular, whether it's genetic or not, right? It could be genetic, or it could just be some substance that you ingest, and then that's interacting poorly with what's in your body. But it's always has a molecular basis. So if a treatment is not addressing a disease on that molecular basis, you're going to be at best treating symptoms, or it's going to be psychosomatic, and it's almost certainly pseudoscientific. And so that describes most of alt health.
So you mean to tell me when they selling this on your diet, you eat the right foods and with no chemicals in it, which ain't nothing but molecules, you're never going to
molecule-free diet, right? Yep. That's the people who think they can subsist on light. That would be those
correct.
People.
That's the only thing wouldn't have no chemicals in it, correct?
Right. Now, so diet, it's important to have a good diet, and you can have a diet that minimizes carcinogens, right? There are foods that have more carcinogens, and there's ways of cooking that can make it have, if you char the hell out of meat, you're probably going to ingest more carcinogens, which heightens slightly the probability of getting cancer. I mean, there's behaviors that will put you at higher risk of cancer, and you can minimize that. So there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with wanting to have a healthy diet. But the idea that, this goji berry is going to cure your cancer, no, it fucking won't. No, it will not. You are wrong. If you already have stage 3 cancer, go to the fucking hospital, get chemo, get radiation, do what the doctors tell you to do, or you will die. Right. And so,
And so we got charlatans in the community that was amongst us, like Dr. Sabi. You familiar with him? Have you heard
that
of him?
does ring a bell. That rings a bell. Yeah.
Why don't you go Google that? He's definitely a charlatan, and he promoted a broccoli. No, not broccoli, but just your food is your medicine, the whole 9 yards. And a lot of people. I have some friends. We're going to do a show on it one day. I have some friends that some of their kids actually lost their life, right? Because they had ailments that they could have gotten help with, but you spending all your money, get your money transferred out your account for this nonsense googly gall stuff they sending you, and it's horrible.
And avoiding legitimate treatment.
Avoiding legitimate treatment. Okay.
Yes.
Bet. So in this chapter, you talk about water. What's the different types of pseudo water they was trying? Because this community was oh my goodness, what's the alkaline water? It was the free charge you $50 a bottle. Can you talk about some of the waters, the pseudo waters?
Yeah, I mean, alkaline water is very trendy right now. There's oxygenated water, hydrogen water, things like that. I mean, it's again, it's this romanticization of nature, right? We want this special water from the special spring and all this stuff. And great, clean water, right? We all want clean water. And I mean, it's not entirely without basis, because there are communities, even in the United States, let alone the world, that don't have access to clean water, right? There are, even in the United States, there are communities that the tap water is not potable. So that's a gigantic problem. And so this seeking for clean water, healthy water, right? It's not, it's a thing. That's totally fine. But all these special little twists, I mean, alkaline water, balance your pH, and so every region of your body operates at a particular pH, right? It's your bloodstream is like, I forget, seven. It's like 7.2 or something. It's just the teeny tiniest bit alkaline. But your stomach, right, is full of gastric acid. Its pH is like 2 or 3 at the most. Right? It's acidic, and so whatever you're ingesting that's going into your stomach, whatever base was in there is immediately neutralized, right? You're not getting any kind of therapeutic effect from, unless there's some people say like acid reflux, like if there's an issue within your esophagus prior to getting to the stomach, okay, maybe. Even then I'm skeptical, but once that hits your stomach, there's no base. There's no base in there. It's immediately getting protonated by gastric acid. And so if you're talking about the pH of like your bloodstream and other stuff, it's not getting there. It's not going in there. So alkaline water is a scam. Oxygenated water is definitely a scam. They're talking about getting that oxygen into your bloodstream and stuff. It's just not, like, the idea that what you're like, by drinking water with a little bit of oxygen infused into it somehow gets more oxygen into your bloodstream than going like this. You're fucking breathing all the time, right? That's getting the oxygen to your bloodstream, not drinking a little bit of more oxygen in the water. So all of that stuff is a scam. Yeah, that's it.
So we can call the people selling that scamming. See, they have a problem when I say, yo, you're scamming. You definitely scamming, and you scamming our intellectual real estate. All that is a scam to me. I have I have fights over this. They're not really scamming. At a certain point, you have to know that you're just making all this stuff up.
Of course, especially if you're profiting off of it. If you're profiting off of it, you can count on the fact that they know exactly what they're doing, because they have to know how to market it. So they have to know what is going to entice the public and precisely how to lie to them, how to manipulate them to buy that product, you know.
It is. All right, I'm gonna drop the link so we can get some questions in. I know you're on a tight schedule. I don't want to hold you too long. Okay. I tell you what though, the link, I've dropped the link in the server. If anybody want to get some questions in. So you know the Pseudos, they was on attack. It was interesting. You'd already pummeled them half to death anyway. So they came together like a fake Voltron fall. Did you get a chance to peep that?
You mean Lord Jamar and David Weiss?
Yeah, you already beat them. I can't, like, why would they poke the bear on that?
It's a support group for people who I've made my bitch. It's really adorable. I may or may not do a piece on it. I mean, it's a little bit like I might not, because it's like, what's the point? You know what I mean? Like, they're crying in the corner and whining. Yeah. But also, like, I think people would watch it and it would be funny. So I didn't actually watch any of it, but I saw it's pretty long. So
pretty ridiculous, pretty long and pretty ridiculous there. The craziest thing ever, but pretty ridiculous. All right, we got the first person on here. What's going on, Kent? What's your question, man?
Hey, what's up, man? Hey, I got too long, but yo, check it. Yeah, man, Dave, man, I like your content, man. Keep doing what you do. You know what I mean? I even appreciate how they come at some of the other science communicators when they step out of line. Sabrina Hasselfeld. But no, I just, man, we wanted to show love. Hey, appreciate you bringing them on, man. It's a great show. Y'all keep doing your thing, man. So Dave, man, have you seen a change in Miss Hasselfelder's content, or is it still kind of still doing the same thing?
For a minute, I thought a tiny bit that she's being a little bit more careful with her titles, but it's been exceedingly clickbaity lately. So I don't think she knows what she's doing. She knows what she's in the game for, so she's gonna keep doing that.
True indeed, man. Yeah, that's all I had, though. Yeah, I'm gonna get back to work, man. Hey, appreciate y'all. Man.
Thank you.
Appreciate you sliding through. All right, we got the next call on here. Make sure everybody respectful. All right, what's going on? What's going on? Pseudo investigator. How you doing, man?
Professor Dave? Big fan. Been waiting to get on and talk to you guys. You guys are the best, man. I'm glad you guys are fighting this pseudo war.
Thank you.
Professor Dave, with all this information that's coming out about the final experiment, I mean, do you think that this is going to just really expose and Jern leaving? Do you think that these people are going to go more religious based and turn it into a full-fledged cult?
Well, I mean, it has been a cult already. So I'm actually putting a piece on it out on it tomorrow. I just finished it yesterday. I'm going to publish it tomorrow. So the whole like recap of the final experiment. And so yeah, I mean, I don't really notice any particular religious overtones, at least not more than usual. Really, they're all just flipping out and going back and forth on like, were they in Antarctica? Were they not in Antarctica? Did they see the 24-hour sun, or was it fake? Because they're not agreeing, right? Some insist they never went there. Some say, yes, they did. Some say they saw the 24-hour sun, so we have to figure out how that works on a flat Earth. Some say, no, they didn't see it. It was fake. It was in a dome. It was, they're all like melting down about this and fighting. There's all this infighting. Like Witsa is going on these other. So luckily, Will Duffy compiled a little bullet point list for me to like show up. Like, I don't have the time to do all the research and look at all the channels, but he's like, this is what everybody's saying. Here are the timestamps, so I can make a video about it. And it's just hilarious to me to have Austin going on like these other flat earthers, and they're like, you're a liar, you didn't see that. And he's like, yes, I did. Like, what the it's just the flat
totally,
earthers are getting the flat earther treatment. It's so funny.
It's like they sacrifice themselves for nothing.
Yeah.
So, and I guess I just had one last thing before. Is there any way that you and Brother Ankh can get together and take on Bro Sanchez live, where he has no mute button? Can you set it up where he has no mute button and give it to him?
Sure. I'm fine with that. Yeah.
You know, you
I
see the debate I had against him? You didn't see that?
Oh no,
yeah.
I don't pay attention to what.
Oh no, I
like
was
the-
talking to him. Dave, I use your slides. Remember, I was telling you.
Oh yeah. Cool.
Yeah, I watch all your stuff, Brother Ankh. But Bro Sanchez has been hiding since this thing. He doesn't talk about it too much. He won't even bring it up. He doesn't watch any reels.
Mhm.
Yeah, he took off from this. He's hiding from it. So, but he's over there talking a lot of smack on you, man. And I think that he needs to get put in his place, man.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I won't keep you, man. Thanks for having me. I
man.
appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
Thank you, dude.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, it's like with the flat
quick.
earthers. After
the
a certain
flat
point, it's like, how many of these guys am I gonna like? There's a limit to how many I'm gonna debate.
Yeah.
Like, it's all the same shit every time.
Oh
Like, come on.
yeah. I mean, for real. Like, stop it. You know, I already beat him when I used the slides. It was crazy.
Cool.
How does water stick to the ocean? Crazy. All right, so listen, this show right here, right before we get to the next caller, is definitely brought to you by Conscious Ingenuity, building character, confidence, and capabilities through STEM. Y'all know we do STEM all day, every day, all year long. Big up to Dr. Oyamiyat, the start of this, man. And Dave, he was over on that platform yesterday, but this is what we're doing right here. We all about STEM all day, every day. So yeah, this program right here is brought to you by Conscious Ingenuity, man. I'm gonna drop the link. Make sure y'all be a part of that, man. Get the babies grounded in STEM early on. All right, let's go to the next caller right here. Moving right along. Okay, Miss Tiff, what's up?
Hey,
Pseudo Killer Official. What's good?
can I be heard? Can y'all hear me pretty good?
Yep, I can hear you.
All right, cool. Thank you for joining us, Professor Dave. This has been
happy to do it.
awesome. And I just want you to just say a few words about. I saw your video that you did. You were clowning Terrence and Billy Carson. Successfully so, but I thought you made a good point, and it's something that Ankh does on a regular basis, especially because of the community that he serves. Just the disadvantage that these high-level charlatans are to the Black community. So, from your perspective, can you speak on that a minute? And that's really all I really wanted you to share.
Sure. Yeah, I'm looking at this from the outside, and I'm seeing. I mean, Terrence Howard is legitimately insane, so it doesn't really apply to him as much. But Billy Carson is very clearly grifting, and his target is the Black community, right?
Yep.
He's promoting himself as like, I'm trying to elevate the Black community against the lies of the white man and their revisionist history and all these things. And he's just a grifter. He's just selling books and selling useless products on his website and selling, success porn and all this stuff. And he's
porn.
like he does like the Andrew Tate, like, I'm a millionaire and here's tips how to be, how to get out of poverty and get out of the shadow of the white man and build your own empire, and it's like, it's just, he is a cancer on the Black community, and he's been getting his just desserts lately. So I don't know if he'll go away for good, or we'll see what happens. But I'm happy to have contributed to that process a little bit in exposing him. And I just want to see all grifters go down. You know what I mean? And
Right.
yeah, that's it. So.
Yeah, I'm particularly, I was just shocked at how Lord Jamar behaved. Not shocked. I'm not going to say I was shocked, but I just thought it was just abhorrent. I just, wow. Yeah, I wasn't shocked. I'm not going to say that, but it was very distasteful.
Yeah,
Very
to
distasteful.
say the least. Yeah,
to say the least. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was all.
All right,
I'll
Miss
give
Tiff.
somebody else some time.
All right, let me get Space Age Anthony on here. We got Astronomy Club too. They the leader of the Space Age Astronomy Club. We definitely got astronomy. We all got our telescopes behind us. I see you. What's going on, man? What it do there, bro? Space Age After Pseudo Killer Fisher. What's good?
Peace, brother. Peace to you, Miss Tiffany. Professor Dave, peace to you, man. Appreciate you joining. Yeah, I appreciate you joining the crowd, man, over here. We really big up your work, man. We use a lot of your work, in communicating the science to the people. And,
amazing.
I don't have any questions, but I just want to say, appreciate you for coming and joining us, man, and speaking with us.
Happy to do
man,
it.
We need it.
Yeah.
We need it bad, man. So I just wanted to say that, man.
Thank you. Yeah.
I really
appreciate it.
I really
got your tongue, knock it off.
Yeah, dog. You know how it is, man.
Well, you got to
He took his hat off now. He's ready.
Stop it.
I'm trying to warm up,
Oh boy, you wild out.
Yeah,
that's fun.
I love astronomy, Professor Dave. That's what
Me
I
too.
do. I love it.
It's my secret. I secretly like it more than chemistry. I just ended up studying chemistry. So
yeah, astronomy is what's happening with me. So. But yeah, I love all your work, man. I listen to most of your videos and everything on astronomy, though. Everything.
Thank you. Awesome.
I learned a lot from you. So appreciate it.
Absolutely.
All right, Anthony, man, I'm gonna put you down here, man. Let me get one of my main man right here, man. Montoya. Been banging on Pseudos since before we promoted the word. Mental dialogue activist, man, and an intelligent mental dialogue. Man, what say you, man? Good to have you on the program, man. What's good?
Yeah,
Talk to
love the show, man. Brother, big props for putting this together. Dave, love your information. I would say on a serious note, as the pandemic was taking place, if you will, obviously having a worldwide pandemic for the first time in over 100 years, obviously a very serious issue. And so, not to give too much background, but Ankh could tell you early on, I'm just a science enthusiast. I learned a lot from Ankh as well. So just, literally know that I'm just an enthusiast or whatever. And so I took it very serious at that time, just to try to give people the correct information before YouTube started putting every down, regardless of what you were putting out, right? So I had a nice little period. Brother Ankh joined me a couple times, and it was just trying to get people the correct information because, again, a lot of it was just, we've never experienced a pandemic, so people just didn't know what to believe. And so we just tried to give people the correct information. And so after the pandemic, one thing that me and Brother Ankh always talked about was eventually science will catch up and things will return to normal. This is kind of the process, if you will, right? And so that's exactly what happened. And I would just tell people in general, the biggest thing with a vaccine is just speeding up herd immunity would be I would say this, the overall context of all the things that we're attempting to do. We're trying to speed up herd immunity to speed up, the losses, whether it's death or just experiencing the virus, if you will. And so everything played out exactly like it should. But unfortunately, in the social media era, what also happened was now that we are, death rates are back to normal after 3 years, right? Like that's exactly what should have happened. But in the social media age, instead of it playing out and people seeing science happening for what it is, the social media age is able to push pseudoscience to the extent that the anti-vaxxers now currently, like they always do, they narrow the context, only show the side effects, if you will, or the VAERS report without telling people how it actually works. And they're using it to now, those people feel validated even at this point because they would deny that world deaths are back to normal. They'll just deny that, or if you explain world deaths to them, they'll just somehow ignore it to continue believing what they want to believe, which is part of our cognitive dissonance. I know I'm saying a lot here, but I just
that's a long question. Was that a question?
Yeah, I'm done here. So the important part is they feel validated and are still using that to now say, hey, the vaccines are causing deaths. There's no evidence backing that up, but they make it look very good on the internet. That's kind of where I wanted to say all that to stop right there.
Yeah, vaccine hesitancy is at a record high right now, and and it is that thing of just if you repeat a lie enough times, it becomes the truth. This idea that the COVID vaccines had this highly inordinate amount of adverse reactions. It had some, just like every other vaccine. Theirs is not a reliable database, especially in this political climate. It's just they were not over. There were not an inordinate amount of adverse reactions or deaths. That's a complete fabrication. And yet, if you took a poll amongst the public, like at least half of people, probably more than half of people, would not only believe that, but insist it violently.
Yes.
And that is a ramification of the post-truth era, social media, all of that stuff. So we need so many people on the ground combating this crap globally in their own communities, etc. Yes. Thank you.
And one last thing, using the example that they love to use, like honing in on myocarditis. And I'm like, do you realize they're getting the information from the very people they're telling you not to trust? They're taking those numbers, narrowing the context, and now using the numbers that they've gotten from the very people they tell you not to trust, and telling you these numbers are somehow hiding. And I'm just like, just do the risk reward, compare it to the virus, and you will see exactly why we have a vaccine.
You get myocarditis from the virus too. You know?
From the virus at higher levels. That's the wild part.
Way higher. 9-10-fold.
Yep.
All right, Montoya, appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, we was reading these right here during the pandemic.
Nice.
Principles of Owsley, Vincent Raccanella. Yes, we kept it. Always keep it college level scientific. Then we get Saint. Pseudo killer. Go ahead. What were you saying?
Let me just one really quick before the question.
Yes,
that's incredible to me. What a responsible global population should do is what you just did. There's a global pandemic. Take a virology textbook, flip through it, familiarize yourself with the basic concepts of epidemiology and virology. That's how every human should be, right? Then we'd be in a better place. So sorry that I had to say that.
No, I need you to say that because they thought I was bananas. What are you doing? You think you're something? No, Saint, Pseudo killer. What's good, man? How you doing?
How you doing, man? Hey,
I'm good,
Dave.
bro.
I appreciate you. I bought your book. I went on Amazon, bought your book. I'm looking forward to reading it. A few things I want to add. I do want to ask you some questions, but I on the Brother Sanchez thing, the thing with those guys that are grifting, I mean, that's their income, right? So, I mean, one time he was talking about we didn't go on the moon, we didn't land on the moon, and one of the reasons was because there's no way that you can take a radio and talk to the moon. I said, I'm a ham operator. You can bounce a signal off the moon. He's like, prove it. That's what he says. His go-to thing was prove it.
But what's funny is that most of them say they think it's funny that the president talked to them on the phone. He's like, there's no phone lines on the moon. They connected the phone to a fucking radio, you idiots.
Right.
Like,
and the thing was, I said they were bouncing signals off. They were bouncing signals off the moon in the 50s. I mean, that's But anyway, Also, I subscribed to your channel a couple of days ago, and I've been listening. And the smartest man alive, I listened to that last night. And the funny thing is, I had seen that video, it was making its rounds, and he was not very good because, like, when he started talking, I was like, this dude is not a genius. I was listening to some of the things he was saying. I'm like,
he's transparently rather dumb, or at least of average intelligence. And
as you said,
my mind that people can't see that.
As you said on the Darwin thing, he was as subtle as a bag of hammers. I thought the same thing. So one of my questions is, maybe you can answer this or not. The whole thing, like when you're talking about modified foods, right? Like the Franken foods or whatever they want to call it. So like Splenda, for instance, that was told a long time ago. And I remember when saccharin was supposed to cause cancer. and now Splenda's supposed to be bad for you. And I just have an idea that, you know, the sugar industry is pretty powerful, and they just kind of manufacture some of these studies when they get any competition. That's just a speculation. I don't know if that's true or not. What do you think about just that one, you know, food in general, but if you know anything about Splenda?
I don't know anything about Splenda. I mean, I would be very skeptical about those kinds of claims. But I would have to like read studies to. I mean, sure. I mean, an individual study can be fabricated. That's true. The more studies you have, the less likely that is from more sources. So yeah, I'm not familiar with that precise example, but I would be skeptical of those claims.
I am. I'm skeptical. I've been doing it for 15 years, and so wow, that's anecdotal, but so far so good.
Walking dead. All right, no saying I'm gonna get somebody else in here. Appreciate you, man. Holler at us in the server, man. Appreciate you. Yep. All right, man. Okay, let's get this. We can move right along. Okay. What's going on, brother? DZ, what's up, man? What's on your mind, man? Appreciate you. All support, man. What's your question, man?
Yes, sir, brother. Brother Dave, how are you gentlemen doing this evening?
Good.
I would like to say that I am thoroughly enjoying your show and the information that you gentlemen are providing to the people who very much so need it. My question pertains to, and is like, for if each of you brothers may bring this to your platform, a way that you can possibly further attack this pseudo situation that we have, because I've noticed that there are some individuals, it seems like there's something upstairs, something mentally ill. Is it a type of mental illness or personality disorder for some people? Of course, there are some people that are just scamming, but even when you have conversations with certain people, you will see them wig out. They'll wig out at you bringing them information that they should be taking in. And it's just something isn't working right up here. Do you guys think that it would be something that y'all should look into, whereas y'all should possibly look for someone whose area is in psychology? You know, because there's some people, there's definitely something wrong with them, if I can ask you.
Not necessarily something super wrong. I mean, some people, yes, but I think some people just, when they subscribe to a particular ideology, a set of beliefs, and, you know, naturalism and subscribing to alternative medicine and stuff, that would be that would qualify. If they make that part of their identity, when you provide them facts that run contrary to that, they're going to react violently to that. And I think there's an aspect of that that's normal. That's human nature. But I don't think that should really inform our strategy that much, taken into account, especially if you're operating one-on-one with a peer or a family member, something like that. But for myself as a science communicator, I'm putting content out. I'm just providing factual information, and somebody might react that way. But if you keep hammering them with the facts, they're not going to admit it at point blank to your face. Oh, you were right, I was wrong. No, but they have to go to sleep that night and they have to ponder about that interaction. And I think very slowly and gradually you can chip away at them, and they can change their minds. People do it all the time. People leave organized religion. People leave flat earth. People leave all of these things. It just, we shouldn't expect it to happen like that. Just keep hammering away with the information, and it'll gradually wear them down. It'll gradually erode that outer casing of reality denial. So that's it.
Well, you ain't been around. You ain't been around the conscious community. Now, if I've been doing this for 15 years, they fighting just crazy. I don't know what. Well, so how much time you got left? I know we had.
I should take off. My kids just got home, so
okay. Look, I tried. I tell you what, Vance, say something to your favorite man right there.
Can
Real
you hear
quick,
me?
Vance, where you at?
Yes.
We can hear you.
Yeah. I just wanted to say. I just wanted to say I'm a big fan. Keep doing what you're doing. That Lord Jamar clip is going viral, and I'm glad. He's been talking crazy for a decade or two. So just appreciate you.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks so much.
All right, look, we out. Hey, Professor Dave, 93. Go ahead, 93. We gotta let him go.
No, I just wanted to say peace and what's up, Professor Dave. I love the channel. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thanks so much.
All right, man. Make sure y'all like and subscribe, man. Look, get some of those books. Don't play. Hey, those books should go up. Those book sales should go up.
I
Okay,
hope
we
so.
put that
That
in there
sounds good.
again. Make sure I get the books. Professor Dave, man, appreciate you coming through, man. You know, I'll hit you up in the email and figure out. You do any public speaking? I know you do. Am I correct?
Yeah. In fact, I'm trying to ramp up the public speaking aspect of my career. So, yeah.
And I'm sure there's a fee associated with it. Let us know. We put our money where our mouth is around here all day, every day. All right, man. Appreciate you, Dave. Appreciate. Hey, look, keep doing what you're doing. I know you are, man. Appreciate you sliding through, man. It was a gift for the community, and you know we got your back. All right.
Thank you. I appreciate
All right, man.
it. Yeah.
Peace. All right, peace. All right, so listen, we get ready to do an after show. Hey, Montoya, man, I want to make sure your channel get all the live because a lot of people watching, man. You know what I'm saying? I want to make sure that mental dialogue get promoted, man. And yeah, because you've been, listen, bro, you've been an asset for me from day one. You beat the black algae off me. I never get.
Hey, you been getting sharper.
I was like throwing blows between me and my uncle, boy.
Nah, this show is excellent, man. I just, you know, I just want to give you props. I haven't, you know, I used to bang with y'all for a few years ago, and then eventually, you know, I jumped out when y'all went too much Egyptology for me. I jumped out the game. So the reason I'm even mentioning that is because today is really me coming around for the first time, and you know, some years ago now. In all reality, I've watched a little bit along the way, and I just want to give you props. Just for what I just watched. You know what I mean? So, you know, you've always had dope information, dope shows. Yeah. I'm just giving you props on just watching how you're maneuvering based on, you know, and again, I know a lot of what we used to do was amongst friends. So I know that's different than, you know, just doing an official video. But I really just want to give you props for just smoothly handling that information and just touching on the things that that needed to be touched on. And if I could just even highlight the last thing y'all talked about, and Dave said it best.
Hey, go ahead. You're gonna get the last word. Go ahead, get the last word.
I'm always putting people on that word, cognitive dissonance. No, it's nothing wrong with our conscious friends or our pseudo brothers who are fighting to tooth and nail. It's just, as he said, it's a natural thing. And I always remind people, anything that you're passionate about, that's the area where you will act just like you say. There must be something wrong with those people. And you know, so I'm always putting Brother Ankh on the idea of cognitive dissonance. And so it's just a thing that we all can be susceptible to, and that's what's happening. And as much as we enjoy these back and forths on this video, nobody's going to be able, as Dave said, be able to say you're right on the spot because their cognitive dissonance will not allow them to. So it's just kind of like as if we have the right information, you have to be aware of it to the point where you don't let it bother you that someone's actually acting from their cognitive distance. That's something we need to learn as trying to purvey the information to our community. We need to become aware of that sometimes.
All right. Hey man, where can they find you at? Yo, you putting out you moving your platform.
Yep.
You gotta send me that link so I can get my downloads. I need that link.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, just go to youtube.com/mental dialogue, and we got the political show and the race, sex, and culture mental dialogue show. We started politically conscious, so you get political shows, conscious political shows, and race, sex, and culture all at mentaldialogue.com. youtube.com/mental dialogue. Thank you.
All right, man. Y'all know what it is, man. Hey, look, y'all know we doing an after show.
Yeah, where you do the after show at? How did you do that?
We're gonna do it right here. I'm gonna send you the link. All right.
Okay.
All right. I see you, Stu Peas. Hey, man, we're going to set up that after show, man. Look, man, them Pseudos, man, they done. Man, I appreciate everybody for coming through. Yo, we doing it like we supposed to do it, man. It was a powerful show, man. We about to do the after show. Let's come over and talk, have some fun, man. Like and subscribe, man. Hit that Cash App. Show some love, man. Support, man. Money talk, bullshit walk. You know how it go. Man, look, Pseudos always down these sources, man. Big up to Professor Dave, man. It was a great interview. We had fun, man. And yeah, man, I see y'all in a minute, man. Y'all know how we do it all day, every day. Hey, Miss Tip, set up that daggone thing. Can you do that? Big up to everybody, man. Everybody on the channel, man. Appreciate the love.
It's already set.
Oh, man.
She'll just put the link in there now.
I'm going to give it to me. All right, let me see. Good. Can you put it in there?
No, but put it in the chat before you close out. That'll be a good idea.
Get you the link. How am I get you the link?
Well, I'm gonna put the StreamYard for people here that want to get in.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
So if you're already on the panel and you want to join, I'm about to put the link so you can just join the next show. Okay. Put it in the private chat.
Oh, you got the link in the front. You gonna put the link in the back?
I'm putting the StreamYard link in the back so everyone up here can go ahead and get in there. And then I'm gonna put the YouTube link for the audience.
All right, get in there. Go get that CP. It's in the back right there, Montoya. You can get it right there in the private. We're not attacking individuals. We attacking information. Funny.
Yeah, I'll change the thumbnail in a minute. I just wanted to make sure to get it.
Okay.
All right, I'm about to post it in the chat for the people. Hold on. There you go.
Yeah, you moving too slow. You killed me.
No, I'm not.
Yeah,
there it is. There it is right there. That's the show.
All right. Hey, look, man. It was a great show. Appreciate everybody to stop through. Y'all know how we do it around here. Very, very important to keep keep the balls rolling, keep the whole thing moving, man. And we here. We doing what we're supposed to do. Appreciate all the supporters. Come on over to the after show, man. Let's have a lively conversation. Stu Peas, I hope you grab the link out the thing right there, Stu Peas. Get that, man. Look, man, appreciate y'all for tuning into the Community Skeptics, man. Y'all know what it is, man. Bobby Banger, aka the God Killer. And with that, we out.